Today's guest is someone who truly understands the power of storytelling, honest conversations, and what happens when women use media to create connection, community, and impact. I'm joined by the lovely Erin Washington, host of the incredibly popular ThERInpy with Erin Washington podcast, entrepreneur, speaker, and creator known for blending humor, vulnerability, pop culture, parenting, relationships, and real life conversations into a platform that feels deeply authentic and relatable. And today's episode is especially fun because I recently had the opportunity to be a guest on Erin's show. And now we're flipping the mic and bringing her onto the Manager podcast as part of our July series focused on podcasting, media, women's voices, and building influence through conversation. One thing I really admire about Erin is that she built a show that feels human in a world where so much content feels curated and overproduced or transactional. Erin has created a space where listeners genuinely feel like they're part of the conversation. So today we're going to dive into the business of podcasting, being a loyal audience, navigating growth online, balancing motherhood and media, creating content consistently, dealing with internet culture, and what it really takes to sustain a platform in today's digital world. We'll also talk about how podcasting changes people, what makes conversations connect, burnout, authenticity, sponsorships, and why women's voices matter now more than ever. If you've ever thought about starting a podcast, building a brand, growing a platform, or simply finding your voice online, this conversation is going to be packed with insight. So please welcome Erin Washington to the Manager podcast here. Hey, I'm so glad you're here.
I am obsessed with that intro and I will be stealing it. I feel seen and you totally get me. And that's exactly what my show is about. So thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just so glad you're here. This is going to be part of a broader series on podcasting and how women's voices, how to find your voice and what to do with it. We're living in this tech world where we have this ability to just log on to our laptops and basically record something that could go out into the universe and stay there forever. And never have we ever had this ability to do this before. This platform of podcasting is very interesting for women's voices, especially in my opinion.
Yes. And to be unbridled, like you don't have to run it by anybody. It's like when you're podcasting, you say whatever you want to say. Like I like sometimes, and we'll probably get to this, like you think about being picked up by like a big company or something, but then I'm like, but then would I have to ask what I can say and who I can talk to? Because right now it's kind of working well that I can talk to the guests that I want. I can say what I want. I don't have to run it by anybody. It's very freeing.
Oh yeah, I have a master's in film and television production, so it's very rare to be in a situation where you're really solo casting. You don't have a producer, you don't have a writer, you don't have a line producer, you don't have anybody around you, over you, under you to check your lighting, check your makeup. I mean, we do it all here. We light
See
and
if
we
you
do our
have
hair.
matching pants on or
There,
something like that.
yes, the no pants era, so we're good there. From the waist up.
Oh, we're showing, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's all we need right now. So, Erin, for people meeting you for the first time, how do you
Mhm.
describe what you do today?
I believe that I am finally walking in my purpose, which is sharing authentic, vulnerable conversations so that other women feel seen and less alone. After 20-ish years of struggling with body image, self-worth, not having a lot of confidence, and kind of finding it later in life, and then realizing the title of my book, From Pain to Purpose, I had to go through that so that I could have these conversations and share my story because it gives me credibility. When I'm vulnerable, it allows somebody else permission to be vulnerable. And I feel like a lot of women who follow me or reach out to me feel like they can talk to me because I kind of went first and sharing my story. And I can tell you whatever you're dealing with, you are not the only person dealing with it. Everyone struggles, just not everyone says it out loud.
It's so true. So, when did you publish your book, Erin?
I published it right when the world shut down. 2019, I had a fancy book party, probably like, no, that was 2020, right before COVID. And what's really funny, that's an interesting question because it leads to the podcast. I didn't have any desire to start a podcast. I didn't have a media background like you. I was a stay at home mom and I put out my book and had a little bit of a following. I had a little fancy book party at Kendra Scott. And right then it was like, yeah, my book's coming out and the world shut down. So then I go to Instagram and was very open and vulnerable and said, what in the hell am I supposed to do with a 2 and a 4-year-old when the schools are closed and the gyms are closed and the playgrounds are closed? So I was just going live every week on Instagram, talking to other moms about how to mom in a pandemic. And I would say, pour a cocktail Thursday nights. We'll talk about best practices. And I remember moms would come on and go live with me. And I remember one was like scavenger hunt. They have to find a pine cone and a stop sign. And we were like, yes, 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 this is so good. Next Thursday, pour a cocktail. And I made like a little talk show. Nobody asked for it. But I realized that I had an opportunity because bigger guests, Real Housewives, some bigger mom bloggers, they didn't have anything else going on. So I would be like, do you want to come on my show? And they were like, sure. I mean, I have shit else to do. Sure. So I would go live with some of the Real Housewives, big mom accounts. And I realized on one Instagram live, I had 5,000 people watching. But it was like the perfect time because nobody could go anywhere. Everybody was home on their computer. So again, no desire to start a podcast. There was no ulterior motive except put myself out into the world as I am, authentically as I am. And unbeknownst to me, a program director at the biggest radio station in DC was watching my lives every week. And then after one of them, she DM'd me and said, this is a show. We'll produce it. And we want it to be on podcast one, and sent me the equipment. And my podcast was born.
Oh my gosh, that's like the dream, girl. That is awesome.
Yes, you don't know who is watching. It's like I always just say, put yourself out into the world authentically as you are. Aimee, if there was an ad like on Instagram that like podcast one is looking for a new host, scroll by. That would have never crossed my mind. I never would have auditioned for it. But what's funny is if it was an audition, I would have been putting on my radio voice and being da da da. I wasn't trying to get a show. So she saw me just being me. I had no other ulterior motive. And when you are being you and putting your energy authentically as you are out into the world, what is for you will fall in your lap.
That is right. That is right. Just like Dr. Seuss always said, there's only one you. It's
Yes,
exactly right. It's so true. Yeah.
exactly.
And it's really, people who are able to really be authentic in public. It's like the truth is just sounds different, right? So it's like this authenticity,
Yes.
it just sounds different. Like when someone's
Gosh,
just being real.
you get allergic when you feel like someone's not being authentic. It like makes my
Yes.
body react. I'm like, you don't
It's
mean that. Or like somebody be
it's
like, my life is so
cringe.
hard and my life. And I'm like, but you're all matching. Your pants match your top. You're not as bad as I am today. Like, just be real. But I have to say, it was very much a journey. I never had a voice or felt confidence in my voice until almost 40. And I was always like playing it down and trying to just appease everyone else. And I didn't find this until way later, and it came this, like, I don't know, this energy that I have now and this, like, lighter, confident energy came when I shared some stuff that I never was gonna share and got it off of me, and full disclosure, I was bulimic for a while, and I wrote about that in my book, and I can tell you, if there's something that you haven't shared or that you're kinda maybe you're not doing it anymore or something that happened to you in your past and you've kinda tucked it away. For me, I was like, "Thank God nobody found out about that because I wasn't doing the behaviors anymore, but I was like, I had a reputation to uphold. I was homecoming queen. I was prom queen. I also wasn't eating much during that time, but I had to just act like I had it all together. When I shared my big thing, and for anyone listening, that thing for you is whatever you're thinking of right now. Get in there, write it, tell your husband. You don't have to write a book, get it off of you. And it's like the rest of your life opens up. The only thing holding you back was that thing. And the only reason it was scary and secretive was because it was in the dark. Now I speak very openly about bulimia because it doesn't have power anymore. Like it only had power when it was scary and secret. So, whatever that thing is for you, it sounds scary to say it, but it is the only thing holding you back. It will just unlock this next level version of you. And if you're feeling hesitant to share it because, I don't know, shameful, gross, I can't think of anything grosser than what I used to do. You're not the only one doing it. Like I've already said, you're just saying it out loud and not everyone does. But I can tell you the DMs that I've gotten, like you're the first person I told you. Not even my husband knows that I used to do this because somebody went first. You're not alone. Other people are in it. And then you can find purpose from like sharing your story and helping the people that are still in it get out. And that's kind of when I found my voice, when I was like, this happened. I don't do it anymore, but now, and people were like, oh my gosh, how did you come out of it and you just start sharing and you create a community. And now I feel an obligation to show up for my community. But it all came out of something that was so dark and secretive. And if I had never unpacked that, it's like I think about, I probably just, not that there's anything wrong with being a stay-at-home mom, but I wouldn't have like a passion that lights me up. And only because I got in there to what was secretive and dark and scary do I have this now.
I love that so much. My next book that's gonna come out in November kinda gets into this a little bit. I was kind of exploring human potential, and what I really realized is that me too, in my wounds, your wounds are really the portal to, like, who you truly can become. So instead of running away from our pain, if we run towards it, that is often how we overcome, how we become better people, and how we become people that can help other people. If we're constantly
Yes.
ashamed of everything and hiding everything and pretending that everything's okay, and this patriarchal mindset of like pain and emotions are like negative and something to be avoided, it's like, no, I really feel like we're moving towards this new earth that's like, no, my pain, my story, my wounds are beautiful and they need to be celebrated and they need to be explored. Like exploring your wounds are this it's this beautiful fertile ground. And honestly, I say, plants can't grow without bullshit, right? So it's like
Yes.
the fertilizer of our life is like the pain and the painful experiences we've gone through in our life are really these like highly fertilizing things for our personal growth if we
Yes.
allow ourselves to see it that way.
Yes, it was all purposeful. You're supposed to go through it to figure out what you're supposed to do, and it humanizes you, and it's connection. And if you're talking about the series building something, I had a Instagram account. I tried to be a mom like influencer when my daughter is like 10 years ago. My grid was like perfectly like colored. All the colors were in the same. All the templates were the same. And I wouldn't take a picture if there was like toys in the back. And that it's funny looking back, like that account just didn't do anything. I found my following when I just started being real. Like, don't like I have pants on that are very weird right now, but it's like and I'm telling you about, did I have to tell you about it? No. But it's like just share and be you. And that's when people see your humanity, connect with you. That's when you'll grow your following. It's like when what you're trying to build because you look at somebody who has 1 million downloads an episode, and this is the way she does it. It works for her because she does it the way she's supposed to do it. You don't copy what she does. You do it the way you do it, and your people will find you. And the more you try to like make it cookie cutter, it's just like less and less authentic. And like you said at the beginning, people can sniff that out. I'm allergic to it now when people are just, I'm like, that's not real. Like, you're not real. That's not who you gravitate to. And that's not how you cultivate the people that you follow. You follow the people that you can relate to. And so think about it when you're on the opposite side, when you're trying to build something. Like, are you being all the way you, or are you holding back because some people may unfollow? Those are your people. You got to be you, and your people will stay with you. And that's when you grow.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. Erin, yes. Amen. Preach it, sister. I love it.
I had to
So
figure it
good.
out the hard way. 10 years ago, my daughter was the playground fashionista, and I would take her to playgrounds in different outfits and take pictures because I was really bored, Amy, and I know a lot going on. And
That is
now
cute.
I have a top 1% podcast because I just say what's on my mind. I took the filter off, pun intended, for Instagram. Like,
Yes.
putting a filter on it for growth is actually stunting your growth. And until you show the messiness of it, again, think of somebody you follow that you're like, oh my God, every time they post, you click on theirs. She's probably just being completely who she is, not holding anything back. That's the magic. And it's hard when you first have to put it out there, but that's if even maybe you will get unfollows and people stop downloading. But it's like the people that are supposed to find you, it's almost like a slow burn. Like, let them go, because then it's just finding your path to the people that you are supposed to speak to and that light you up. I found it out the hard way. I also had a pivot in my podcast. It was called something else, but this makes sense. Like, it didn't feel aligned anymore to like how I was living. And it used to be called Squats and Margaritas. And I really leaned in, Amy. Like, I trademarked Squats and Margaritas. Anytime I did a morning talk show, I was either making margaritas, like a recipe, or talking about how not to be hungover because I was a margarita girl. So when I started looking at sobriety as I entered my perimenopausal era, Alcohol does not serve me like it did in my 20s and 30s. And I felt it wasn't aligned. And then I would want to talk to sober moms like Kyle Richards. She's sharing her sobriety story. Gina Kirschenheiter, Orange County. She's sharing hers. And I reached out and I was like, my show's called Squats and Margaritas, but I don't really drink anymore. And I was like, why is it even called that? So I rebranded as ThERInpy because it became me just wanting to know how they were doing it. Like, how are you stopping drinking alcohol? How are you dating in your 40s with 2 kids when you haven't been on a date since you're 20? Parenting a neurodiverse child, co-parenting through divorce. I just wanted to like learn from other people. So I was like, what I do is therapy every week. And it's just me asking my questions, and whoever like listens can get the answers from my vulnerability. They don't have to, if they're co-parenting, if they're worried about dating, you just click on an episode about that. I'll ask the questions. And I was like, my show is therapy. So it's ThERInpy is me doing therapy, getting anything I'm interested in. You can find an episode of me asking all the questions. Like I just had the custody queens on as I'm going through a divorce. If there's another mom, I ask everything. Like it's the questions you're wanting to know. It's like you're sitting in on my therapy sessions. And I say all that to say this show is what I was supposed to do, but it evolved out of the squats and margaritas that I was holding on to. Like, it's my brand. I can't start over. And I did. And it was scary. And I did lose some people, but I found my people.
I love it. And was there a moment where you realized, wow, this podcast is really growing? Like, what was that moment for you?
I interviewed Melissa Joan Hart, the actress,
Yeah.
and we talked for like 2 hours. And I was like, what is happening right now? Like, how am I just like, I have built something that was worth her time. I had a member of Destiny's Child on. It's like when I have these bigger guests, I have these moments of like, I have built something worthy enough for that person to respond to me and want to spend their time with me and maybe get my number afterwards. It's like, that's like how I gauge if it went well. If somebody's like, okay, thanks for having me, and they leave, I'm like, wait, what? We're not friends? Like, I can like have these opportunities to connect with these people that I would never have. Katie Couric did my show. I've had some moments that I was like, is this real life? But it's like you built something that is worth these people who have a lot on their plate spending time with you. And when I have those bigger guests, I get those kind of pinch me moments like, this is a thing.
It really is. No, it really, really is. I mean, it's the best part. When I was in film school, I did a documentary and it was having access. And when I went to
That's
do the podcast, I was thinking, wow, it's kind of like doing a documentary because you get access to a lot of people. So I'm going to be able to, have a lot of people answer a lot of different kind of questions and I'm going to learn a lot. And that was my whole thing was like, how can I approach this as like, what can I learn this week? And what do I want to
Aimee.
learn? What am I interested in?
That's how I'm like, this is so indulgent that I get to talk to whoever I want and ask them all the questions I want. Like, it's so, it almost seems like it's not fair. Like, I get to do these things, but I'm like, at least I'm sharing the gems that I get from people, but it almost feels indulgent to do my show, to get access to these people, top mental health professionals, like the number one guy on grief, and ask him my grief questions. Like, it feels indulgent, but I'm sharing the information and it's like exactly what it's supposed to be. But yeah, access. Like you have access, but you built something that has gained you access and it's like, I don't know. I think just from going live on Instagram to like the people that I've been able to talk to now, it blows my mind. But it also was a 5-year, anybody that's starting a podcast, I've been doing this for 5 years. So you have to, and I have a strategy right now. When you're talking about access, we'll keep this here. For access to people, whatever your show's about, if it is a wide variety of topics like mine, like I talk about parenting, divorce, sobriety, I try to find one big name in that realm. And it doesn't matter. It takes 2 years to book. So some Kenya Moore, Teddy Mellencamp, like bigger Real Housewives. If I want a Real Housewife, I reach out and well, first I'll say, instead of reaching out to the person, if you DM them and they have 6 million followers, they're not going to see it. So what you have to do, and sometimes it takes a while, you look who they're mentioning in their posts and their captions. You look who they're following. And when you find their publicist or their assistant, you DM them because they maybe have 300 followers. They'll see it. And then you drop, here's a recent episode with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Teddy Mellencamp. Somebody that's a big name in their field. It gives you credibility. It's like, oh, if Teddy did it, I'll do it. And it just keeps spiraling. Like a mom blogger. I had like Tiffany Jenkins I mean, she's an author now, but like just this huge account. But I made a comment on, you just got to get them to see you. And then once you get that big one, this is a recent episode. That's what you use in your pitch. Like, oh, it just happened to have this episode. And they're like, if you get that one person to do it, that gives you credibility. And then they assume, oh, if she did it, she must be legit. Relationship experts. I got the big one. I got Jillian Trekkie. So now anytime I want to talk about relationships, I say, here's a recent episode with Jillian Trekkie. Interviewed her 3 years ago. Don't mention that. But I legitimize myself by finding someone in that realm that that person will respect. I also look at who they follow on Instagram, and it may be like it may be just not even like something you're thinking of. It's not even in the same realm, but like they're a fan of Melissa Joan Hart, or they watch The View. I had Sarah Haynes. They follow Good Morning America. Here's my episode with Ginger Z. So there is strategy to it, and it sounds like that would take a little bit of time to actually do. But I'm telling you, my bigger guess, that's how I've done it.
That is so awesome. That is, like, fabulous. I'm like, yeah. No,
I'm
you're
not going
so
to
right.
gatekeep.
You're so
Yeah.
right. You're so right. I love that you're not gatekeeping. I love that you're, like,
No.
just, putting it all out there for us, because you're so right. We have to oftentimes, and I'm so guilty of this, I will do something big and then just bury it and move on to the next thing. But you're right, like, use it. I have a friend who's friends with, like, Steve Edwards and Jillian Barbieri and all these people who were on the Good Morning America, Good
Yeah.
Day LA, and
Yeah.
so I had Steve Edwards on my show, and he's lovely, and then he came on my show again, interviewed me. I haven't aired that one yet, but then his friend Nurse Mel, who has a podcast with Heather Locklear and
There
Jillian
it is.
Barbieri, so tomorrow I'm interviewing Nurse Mel. So that's how it works.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I just had Steve on the show, and so
That's it.
that's
Yes.
how yeah. So I did the
And it's
thing.
it's weird to ask sometimes,
Yeah.
but you have to ask, like, at the end, once they know you and they like, you're such a vibe, but, like, maybe not at the beginning, but once they've had an hour with you, just be like, "Now that you know kinda how my show goes, is there anyone else that you think I would have a good connection with?" And they'll give it to you. They're like, "Oh my god, you know who you have to talk to." If they give you a warm intro to that person, again, credibility because they trust that person. So it's sometimes like asking. I also like finding an angle. I like to talk to like bigger celebrities that have a book coming out, or are more willing to do your show because they have to do press anyway for the book. Or where they're a book tour, if they're coming to Atlanta, I record virtually. But I'll be like, if you're in Atlanta and then they are already doing press anyway, or I'll say if there's 30 minutes, they're doing GMA and then they're doing, I don't know, The View. If they have 30 minutes in between and they're talking about the book, can you just, again, go to their publicist? And if they're already scheduling them, sometimes they can get them in. The Katie Couric thing, when her book came out, everybody wanted to know about Matt Lauer because she had all this tea on Matt Lauer. I'll tell you another thing I do. I listened to her book on 1.5 speed. So I got everything real quick. And she talked about bulimia. And I was like, oh my God. So I had an interesting angle. So I went to her publicist and I used that. Everybody's asking about Matt Lauer. I've really never had her talk about bulimia. I struggled too. The next week, she was on my show. So you have to find what would be worth their time. Maybe there's all these sound bites out there about their book about this thing, but nobody knows about that. Download the book. Find something that you haven't heard them talk about yet, and then it behooves them to do your show and have a sound bite so then their publicist could be like, look at this. And then it's gotten to the point now, Aimee, where it's so fun that I've gotten in good with this PR agency that when they have these bigger books coming out, they're pitching me. That, I guess, is a pinch me moment. The fact that I'm like, would I like to have sure. Yes. Like I would, yes, yes, I take them. I'm sometimes like, you're pitching me, like I'm gonna say no to this. So that's what you have to do. Just get scrappy. Find an angle. If they're always talking about something else, or this book is about Christina Applegate. I'm trying that right now. Her book is about MS, but I'm getting divorced and moving right now. But when I have a second, I'm going to download it. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to find something that she hasn't talked about yet, and then I'm going to pitch it. And if you can't find a publicist and it is an author, look at the book, go find the book and see who, like HarperCollins, whoever publishes, press at HarperCollins, publicity at HarperCollins, or whatever it is. So it just takes a little bit of digging, but like once you find the strategies, you can get to the right people. Then another thing, if you have a great interview with an author, I probably have one contact, Simon and Schuster. You reference it, just like you just said. I just had Misha Brown talking about his book. Do you have a contact for Christina Applegate? And because you already told him, okay, we already trust you. You've interviewed this author. Like, go back to your connections. Instagram, you can see who they're following, what they're into, and then include that in the pitch. Maybe they love country music. My sister's married to one of the guys from NSYNC. Don't think that I'm not going to drop that if I see that they're a boy band 90s person. Like, find out their vibe, pitch somebody that they would be like, oh my God. Or if you find the publicist, you can see who they think is cool, and then you include that in your pitch. It gets their attention. And so they're not getting this like straightforward pitch that they get from everybody. It's like, oh, you interviewed this person? Like, how did you even know? Well, I went to Instagram and I see who you follow. So I cheated a little bit, but it's also strategy.
Heck yeah. Well, it's not cheating. It's just being
No.
smart about it,
Yeah.
honestly. You know, it's
Yeah.
you're using all of the tools available, which honestly, if you're scrappy and you have to be, podcasting, it reminds me, it's like I was talking to an intern that I raised up back when I was in my my mid 20s, I guess. We started Dirt Life Media. I guess I was about 30 when we started that company, actually. And he came on as my intern. We shot a couple of TV pilots together, and then he went out and was the producer on Whale Wars with the Sea Shepherd, and then he went on to do like Shark Tank and just a bunch of other stuff. And I haven't talked to him in 15 years. And I talked to him yesterday, and it's you have to use it. All builds in this industry. It all builds on itself. But this is a guerrilla industry. That's the kind of like everything we were talking about what I've done in my life, and I'm like, it's always been, no matter what, whether it was real estate or film, television, or IT, we kind of like real bootstrappy and real like guerrilla style. It was never like this
Yeah.
polished, fully funded thing going on. It was always like, no, we're going to do this thing, and you just got to do the work. But if you figure out how to do the work smart, you can get there quicker. And like it
Yes.
sounds like you've really leveraged. It's leverage is what it really is. Leverage what you have.
I have the strategy down now. So like I'm happy to share it with people because I had to figure out like how do you if you're pitching the wrong person, if you're pitching the guest, they're never gonna see it. So you have to kind of get and then there's these things that it's like I think they make you pay to get who represents their agent or their publicist. You have to like pay. But if you just Google it, it says, I don't know, Molly Sims. I was trying to talk to Molly Sims. Who represents Molly Sims? Molly Sims' agent is Patrick, and then they blur out, pay $59.99 to get the person. I'm like, I'm not paying $59.99. Go to Instagram, see who she follows. Patrick, there's 3 of them. Go through. This is clearly the publicist. Like, it's so, just gotta, I'm not paying $59. You just gave me the first name. So I go and she follows 3 Patricks. One is an old man that's like her grandpa. That's not him. Process of elimination. If you're gonna podcast, you need these little. Watch, everybody's gonna like take off now, and they're like, "Wait, hold on, I'm getting left behind."
I love it. So, you have to overcome things. Like, there will always be challenges. What were some of the biggest challenges that you had building and sustaining your platform online?
The algorithm. I don't gain. I just lose. So if anybody is feeling like some of their content isn't taking off, I'm telling you, I just go down. I think I was close. I don't think I ever got 90,000. The closest, I think the most I ever had was 90. It's like the next morning, it's like 88, 87, 86. And I'm like, wait, I'm not even posting. It just goes down, down, down. So don't feel like something has changed in the algorithm. And I've talked to other big creators and they've said, I gained my following. I got my millions in 2018. And they're like, I haven't grown since. I still do it like the comparison game. Like that is a challenge. It doesn't reflect in my download. So it's like if a podcast teaser for an episode doesn't really take off, it's not a reflection of maybe the downloads. So I haven't found, I don't know, like I reference like getting signed by like a bigger company, like a Dear Media or something. When they reach out and ask for my downloads, they will be like, oh, I mean, I could lie. I could say I have 10 times what I have and it's still not enough for them to work with you. Getting like kind of caught in the, like, if I don't have a big platform behind me, but they won't even talk to me. And I'll say, I don't have a top 1% podcast if it's not enough downloads. But then I'll look and they'll sign other creators and I'll listen to an episode and I don't know. They have found something. It's not like the greatest hosting I've seen. It's not the greatest questions. And so there's something that I haven't found yet that is like the secret to getting picked up, where that's going to be more ad dollars and all the things. I don't have that now. I love doing my show. I love the connections that I've made. And if it happens, I would be open to it. But then again, I got to like run things by people. Maybe it's a blessing that right now ThERInpy is just my baby. And if somebody produced it, they'd be like, well, you can't ask this, or I don't know. And then there's another thing that I don't do, and I know you do, and I respect. Another girl that I'm on a podcast today, she wanted to do a pre-call. And I almost am like, I'm gonna do the legwork on my end. So for me to sit down for 30 minutes and then have another hour, like I'm not doing, like I will put in the time on my end. I guess like building the trust that like it's gonna be a strong interview. But I've been on shows where I'm like, and they didn't read your book. And it's kind of like, I guess podcasters have to put that in place because some people aren't as diligent about I just have like a lot of respect for my craft. I told you this on your show. I don't want to use AI to do my questions because I feel like it's cheating or to read a book for me. And I think I'm going to get left behind living that way. That's been hard for me to like get on board, that kind of stuff. I still record over Zoom. And then every time I'm a guest on a podcast, it's this beautiful Riverside like we're doing today. And I'm still kind of bootstrapping it, but it's working. I haven't found like the fancy, I don't know, like the teasers that some people have, like call her daddy. Like mine don't look like that. It's kind of where I want to be right now. And then if it's supposed to be something else, then somebody will pick me up and launch this bigger. But at this point, I don't have to run anything by anybody else. I may be getting left behind because I'm not using all the optimization tools that I should be. But I guess that's the next thing for me to look at to kind of level things up.
Absolutely. I know. It's one of the things that every time I talk to a podcaster or I'm on someone's podcast and we start talking about the technology side behind the back end, I guess I jumped in post-COVID, plus I'm in digital transformation for like a living. So I've kind of decided, you know what, I'm just going to lean into this. Even I, who was selling all this AI automation, all this stuff, I was like, I don't really want to do it. And I had a business coach who came in and was like, you are going to start using AI. You are going to get Alexa in your house. You are going to start using ChatGPT. You are going to adopt, you are going to, and she's like 25. You're going to adopt all of this technology. And my kids looked at me like, are you crazy? We have an Alexa now? I'm like, no, we have an Alexa in every room now.
Yeah.
We have a Ring camera, mom?
The
Yes, we do.
Alexas.
We have the
Yeah.
Alexas. But honestly, it has been the one thing that has actually catapulted me over the last 2 years because I don't think I would have been able to do all of the things, to write the book, to publish the book, to start the show. And now I have a year worth of podcasts. I've been consistently producing. It's my birthday. I'm a year old
Today's your
officially.
birthday? Oh,
No, I
today's your
mean,
podcast birthday?
my podcast birthday was May 1st, and I didn't
Nice.
celebrate it. And I'm like, I was in taking a shower last night, and I'm like, I forgot to celebrate my birthday, so I'm gonna celebrate it right now.
Amen. It's a lot of work. When you think about it's not like we're just sitting down, like you have to think about the questions that you're going to ask. And then as I'm talking, I'm like, I'm going to put a break right there. Ooh, I like this little teaser. It's creation. It's like content creation. I love that part of it. That's another thing I don't want to let go of. If I had to do this for someone else and they wanted to like do the clips and stuff, that would be hard for me. It's like I have my hands in so much and I spend way too much time doing things that I know I could optimize. I'm kind of a dinosaur that way. And I guarantee that's what's holding me back because I'm like, I just want to make sure, like, I'm sure that, I'm gonna be honest, like templates that every week people's show looks the same and you just swap out the picture. Like, I'm making, like, I'm recreating or reinventing the wheel every week. But I know it's like, that's just the way I do it. And it could save me time. And maybe when I get on that wagon, something will really take off for me. But right now I am bootstrapping it. I'm spending a lot of time to like get to people, but when it pays off, it's like there's nothing better. Like when you put out an episode and then when they collaborate on it, it's like that's another thing. Staying in touch and staying on good terms with your guest. When they collaborate, it's putting you on on Instagram, collaborate on the post. It's putting you in front of a whole different audience that don't follow you yet. So that is gold. Another thing about the pre-call, why I don't like to do it, it's like, especially like bigger guests that have a publicist, they want to be on there and listen and they don't have their camera, but they're just listening. And sometimes when I do interviews, there's people, I've never been stopped yet, but they just kind of want to make sure. I don't want to do a pre-call because if I have something that, I don't want to say like juicy, but like something they haven't been asked yet, I don't want to run that by them and then they say no. And that sounds like shitty to do, but it's like, no, I want to ask them about this. And what if they say, no, that's off limits? And I'd be like, why did I even bring it up? Because they probably would have answered it if their publicist didn't shut it down in the pre-call. So I don't like to do it. I like to just have a conversation flow, have some things that they've never been asked before and not run it by anybody because of the potential that they won't let me ask that. And then, that's going to be your clip. You find the thing that they've never talked about, they share it. And then their audience is like, oh, I've never seen this person say this before. What is this? Click on your episode, viral. There's lots of little strategic things that I don't want to mess with my process.
Totally. And for me, I'm getting approached by a lot of like random people now, a lot of people who are out on tours and I've never met them. So, one of the reasons I'm running my 30-minute meetings before is because I want to do a camera test because I have a film background. So, in a lot of ways,
Oh.
I'm casting. And sometimes
Oh,
I
that's an
was a casting
interesting.
director. I come from that angle too, you know?
Yes,
So
that makes
I'm
sense.
so I wanna make sure that there's synergy for us and also that the look is right and is gonna, like if this make sure that this person, like, fits with my collection because I do feel like my it's a collection of people.
Totally. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Hold on. I have a question. Have you ever like been like, this is not a fit, and then you don't do the
Eh,
show with them?
I have.
How do you handle that? What do you,
I
oh my God, I
usually,
would die.
I that's just part of my that's actually I'm very upfront with people when they come to me, when it's people I don't haven't met or haven't been introduced from other people. I will be very honest. I'm going to do a 30-minute meeting with you. I'm going to see if there's good chemistry and if this is a good fit. If you're a good fit for the show. And then if you're a good
Whoa.
fit, then I'll send you the next calendar, which is the booking calendar. So
It's
that's
like a
how I
tryout, like an audition,
it is an
a
audition, it really
casting.
is, yeah, because I wanna make sure because you don't wanna get somebody on your show who's all, like, monotone or has no
It's happened.
personality or just says, all the
I
time.
just carry it. That happens to me, Amy, and I'm like, I have to carry us out of here. And I'll share a little bit more of mine. And I do. Maybe I should be doing a pre-call because I'm like, oh, we gotta make this work. Or they have a great following, and it would behoove me to interview them because they're gonna put it in front of their audience, but it's not a great interview. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I never considered being like, this isn't a fit. I just try to pull us to the finish line.
No, because I mean, I've been a producer, I've been a casting director, and I really do in a lot of ways, I put on all of these different hats. Sometimes I'm my writer, sometimes I'm my casting director, sometimes I'm my producer. And so for me, I'm thinking who's going to look good on camera? Cuz honestly, the little viral clips like having like as my guy Nick who helps me on the social media end of things, he's like, the beautiful people really catch fire a little bit. It's true. There's a little bit of that, but you also want to guess like I've had younger guests on who it's just hard to get a conversation going sometimes. And I would rather talk to somebody who has a lot of meat on the bone, who has a lot to talk about and who feels really comfortable talking to me about everything.
Oh,
Getting to that comfort level. But then again, like I told you, I meet on Google Meet, I do my 30-minute meeting. I have Gemini record everything. Then I take my Gemini notes and I've created a GPT in chat. I know everybody's using Claude now, but chat knows everything. So I'm still in chat and chat will help me come up with an intro, questions, and an outro for my guest. That at least gives me somewhere to start and then I can kind of refine it, go, no, 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 I wanted to talk about this. I like this. Let's bring this in. I want to focus, this is going into a series about this larger picture. So make sure we get into that kind of talk on a
yes.
broader spectrum. And then I can really refine it. But I'm really using the tools that are available to me to streamline this because I do the podcast in the margins of my life. You
Right.
know, this is
This
you're
is the podcast is my thing.
yes.
You have so like full-time job, you have 6 kids. I have 2 kids, but this is like my baby. The podcast does take up most of my time, but it's not in the margins. Like that's my main focus. But just to have it streamlined like a template that you just had to go in and tweak versus me reinventing the wheel every single time, but feeling like I'm just very, I don't give myself much grace. It's like, did you think of everything you could ask this person? And I end up something is gonna tangent us, and we'll stay on something for, like, 20 minutes, and I won't get to half of it, but at least I'll feel like I've got it and I've prepared. But you're right, Claude, I don't even know what Claude is.
You
Somebody
don't know
else could do that
Claude?
for me?
Oh
No,
my
I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Okay, so you're coming to my AI class. So
I
we'll do another
you
one.
think
By the time this airs, we'll be on to like level 3. But yeah, teaching an AI class for everyday women. So come
what
to
is
that.
Claude? Can you just give
Claude
me a
yeah, Claude is another AI. Claude is like the new chat. Claude is like way better than chat. Co-work is like taking over the world right now. And if you figure out and master Claude co-work, you are going to give yourself like minimum 8 hours a week more time to spend with your kids.
oh, okay, I need to meet Claude. Is he in
Yeah,
my phone? Is it app? It's an app,
yeah,
just like a
you can have
download?
Claude.
Alright.
I like Claude. I have Claude on my phone, although Claude on your computer has more features. So
Look
I
at
would do
you.
both. I would do both.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Great.
join us for our AI class. I'm working with Marcy Dean, who has a huge background in AI, worked at IBM for like 18 years developing the user interfaces for
Oh
AI.
my God.
And she's, I was like, come take us all the way through. Cause I mean, our generation of women, we're still like, some of us, my brother, who's 45, has never even opened AI. He's never done chat at all. And I'm like, what?
I'm close. My sister, I'm the
Yes.
oldest of 4 girls, and they're all like, "Are you?" They talk to chat like it's their friend. Like they talk in the like it's hilarious. I don't know how to talk to it right. They talk to it like they're talking to me,
Yeah.
like very casually, and they're like, "You have to like train it to like know your voice."
Yes,
I
yes. So
I've been hesitant. I
you're
don't know why.
coming
Yeah,
to our class. This by the
please.
time this airs, our that class will have already passed, but we'll have more. That one's on May
Okay,
29th. It's a Friday morning. We'll shoot those classes will be Friday mornings from 10 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. So everybody, no matter what coast you're on, that should be a decent time for everybody. Yeah.
fabulous.
So
My kids are out of school, but I will figure it out.
yes. Yeah. I know. It's just it's time for us to if we haven't yet, now's the time
I know.
and we're going to
I
start at the
know.
very beginning because there's so many women that need to start at the very beginning so that we can do all the things we do better, faster and have more time to I don't know, learn how to bake bread or I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm playing
or
with
do whatever
yogurt
makes you you.
yogurt starters
Yes.
right now and trying to figure out how to
Are
culture
you?
yogurt. Yes, I am.
In your free time.
It is so funny, and chat makes fun of me because most of my experiments fail, but it's been alongside me the whole time, so now it just teases me that that's like
Oh,
that's what
I
I'm
need a
doing.
chat. Okay, I'm not utilizing I have it, but I'm not using it to the best of its abilities. I forget about it. I feel like there's no time, but if you're telling me this will get my time back,
It will.
that's where you had me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can help you get your time back. Join me.
Okay.
Join me on the AI journey. Because honestly, as
Yes.
moms, we have so much stuff to do. Why wouldn't we what mom wouldn't wanna have a little bit more time every week?
I'll be completely honest. It's like sitting down to learn it. I'm like, "Oh, that's gonna take too much time." But what I will get back from making that 2-hour investment, I know,
Mhm.
but it's like that's the initial like, "I don't have time to do that. I'm moving." That's where my head goes.
2 hours. Give me
I
2
know.
hours of your
All
time,
right.
and I'm gonna do,
Okay.
like, 2-hour sessions, like, once a month until we get all of everybody learned, like, trained up on how to use these things, because this is
Okay.
so important for us, like,
I
this
know.
is a woman-to-woman thing that needs to happen, and, I'm excited. Join me on that on your AI journey. So,
Thank
let's
you.
see. So,
Thank you for
your
your
season
service.
Oh my gosh, yes, my pleasure. I mean, I feel like God put me here for a reason in this very weird time and place, and I just happened to fall into all this technology stuff, like, right at the time that it was happening, so I want might as well share what I've learned so far.
I'm here for
So,
it.
so you're in an especially overwhelming season in your life right now. How are you able to stay consistent, creatively during this time? Do you have any, like we all go through these things.
Honestly, I have such a drive to grow my show and such a passion for what I'm doing. It doesn't feel like work. Like the other things feel like work, but it's like this will never fall by the wayside. I'm excited about this. I haven't found that yet. The other things, like there's some laundry that should be attended to, and I'm moving and getting divorced, and everything is hitting at once. Like we're listing this house on the market, moving into the other one, trial. It's too many things. I went to, but that's the other thing. I do it to myself. I had to go to field day because I went to field day for my daughter. So I had to go for my son. And I'm looking around, there's not a lot of parents there. But it's like I hold myself to like, you have to go to field day so your son knows that you love him, then come back. And so other things are dropping. But if my kids, I show up for my kids, and this is like one of my other kids, like I don't see it, it will never drop. I never can, I almost have the opposite problem. I can't stop creating. I think when you're on my show, I was like, how do you turn this off? And you're like, just voice note it, get it off your brain. And I'm like, I can't even be present because when you find something that lights you up so profoundly, if somebody's listening to this, like, what the hell is she on? This makes no sense. You haven't found it yet. There is something for you that when you find it and you know the people that are living in their aligned purpose and they're just like in flow. And when I am on my show or I am on a stage talking to other women, it's like this fire. And so I don't ever feel like there's a lack of creativity for content because this is exactly what I'm supposed to do in the world. Other things, maybe, but not show content. There's always a new guest to book. There's always a new, like, if there's a book out and when in my downtime, I'm going to download it on 1.5 and get ahead. But it's just when you love something and it's your passion, you're not going to let it slip.
Right? Yes. Oh, I totally feel you. And it is a real maternal feeling that we have towards I mean, the podcast is another thing we created. You're so right. It
Yes.
is definitely it is my you're right. This is my 7th baby.
I know. You
Oh.
can't let go of it because, like, I do have a producer. The radio station still produces my show from when they hired me, and they're like, "You have a producer." Instead of I just have him I'm not download it, send it out to Spotify, Apple Podcast. I don't know how to do that. So he is
He
a
syndicates for
value
you.
to me.
Yeah.
He syndicates for me, but it's like he goes, "I can find the ad breaks." I'm like, I need that. I need to find where you're like about if you're like, well, so I'll ad break. Like I like finding like little like we're like, what's she gonna say? Or what if I take a left and start talking shit about my ex? How are you gonna know where that is? You're not gonna know how to take that out. I need to know that I go back and find where I was doing that. That's out. I need my hands in all of it. And if I had an editor, I like the creative aspect of, like, finding the breaks, finding where I'm out. Little part, I was like, "That kinda didn't flow anywhere out." I want all of it. I don't want anybody else's hands in it, and as it grows, I probably could use an extra help, but I love what I'm doing, and I want to have a hand in all of it creatively.
I love that. I love that you're an editor. I went to film
Oh,
school and editing is not my bag at all. I
that's
have
my
a friend.
favorite.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah. Women are traditionally very good editors. That's actually how we got our start in the film industry was as editors, women. It was the only thing they
Really?
would let us do. So there you have it.
It's the best when somebody's kinda, like, rambling off somewhere, but you can find where you can get it to where you take out 3 minutes of something and it flows like they didn't even miss it, like, I get so much joy from a perfect edit or just, like, finding that you talk to somebody for some of my shows have been going, like, an hour and a half, but I would always think if I was a mom, I wouldn't click on this one because it's an hour and a half and it's too much time. But then I look at other shows like a Call Her Daddy. It's like number one. She's been doing longer form, an hour and a half. So I'm like, maybe people are fine with like a long form. So I will like leave other things in. But I'm saying that to say you sit down with someone for an hour and a half and an Instagram, you've got maybe like the cap is 3 minutes. I feel like that's too long to encapsulate a conversation that was an hour and a half in 3 minutes and just getting these hits of little things that could draw people in. I love it. I love going in and finding the gems and every part of it. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And again, if you're not lit up like this at your job right now, listening to this, there's something else for you. And it may be in the stuff that you're not wanting to look at. The secret may be in there. Get that off you and then live as you are. And then just watch opportunities fall in your lap that align with who you authentically are and your vulnerability and just sharing who you are. It's like, oh, she's going to talk about this. Here is this opportunity. It almost like scares you because it's like, what? I wouldn't even think about doing this. Live how you, as a person you are. Don't dull anything down. Don't try to copy or rip off some other creator. Put out yourself and the opportunities for you specifically will find you.
Absolutely. Yes. So, one thing we talk about on the show a lot, and I've talked on your show too, is invisible labor. How do you navigate balancing motherhood, work, content creation, and everything else that women tend to carry?
It's hilarious because that's the number one question I ask on my show. I want other women to come and tell me that answer. I haven't found it yet, but I think a lot of it is giving yourself grace. You're not going to find this perfect balance. Like I said, today I feel a little good about myself because I got to do this great show with you and I got to go to field day. So I'm killing it today. But if I didn't, I would be like, I didn't show up for my son and I'm falling short. Look at it as like a week. Like, it's not day to day. Like, you weren't a shitty mom today. It's like maybe today was a little bit more work heavy, but like giving yourself grace and it's like not putting, like shaming yourself, moving past something and not like ruminating over, I didn't show up for field day. It's like just giving yourself a break. Everyone is doing the best that they can. I wake up an hour before my kids and I feel like I get a lot done there and that like I get up at 5:45, they get up at 6:45. And if I can just get a couple things going, like the dishwasher unloaded and maybe a half hour of a show edited, I feel more equipped that I like knock some things out before they even got up. Like that's a strategy. But at night, some people are like, just do it when they go to sleep. But I go to sleep when they go to sleep. Like I'm tired. I go to bed at like 9 o'clock. So getting up early, getting a walk in just keeps me centered. I used to live in a very force and punishing workout energy where I had to like sweat and punish myself. And now I just am like, what do you need? You need to go for a walk. You need to sit in the sauna. It's kind of like a slower energy, but I feel like my mindset is a lot better. My nervous system is a little bit calmer. I mean, I know I'm a little bit wired hot anyway, but this is better than when I was living in like, I must get in a workout for this to be a complete day. It's grace, like giving yourself a little bit. You showed up at field day, you did a podcast. If I do nothing else today, I did those things and not be so hard on ourselves like we do as moms.
Oh, we are. I feel like we're the hardest. We're our
Mhm.
hardest critics, definitely. Like motherhood has such a high bar. We're all trying to live up to like this impossible standard. So if we could just be a little kinder to ourselves, it makes it all a little
Yes.
easier. Yeah, there's plenty to do. There's there's plenty to do. We'll get around to it. We
Yes, and not
promise.
everybody's stop comparing, not everybody's doing everything you think they are, and you don't have to, like, keep up with it and just give yourself some grace. I just now finally started living that way, like, this year at 44. I would always be like, "But this person" again, back to field day because I went there today. She was at field day, and she works 9 to 5, and I got DoorDash tonight. She probably went home and also made a meal. It's like, you don't know what she's doing. Stop, like, making it harder. Like, just do what's best for you. Get through the day. Everybody's you don't know just because she didn't put it on Instagram that she made a meal, don't assume that you're not cutting it. Everybody's doing as best as they can, and the less you can compare, the easier it is on your nervous system. I can attest to that.
100%. Oh, yeah, it's like I feel like it's so funny. Some people are so competitive with each other, right? And then I feel like I'm always competing with myself. I'm like, "Oh, today I wasn't as good as yesterday," or "I didn't have as much energy as
Yes.
I had." And it's funny, I'll do that. I'm like, "Oh, I wish I had as much energy as I had for these little kids as I had for my older kids." Because
Yeah.
it was a decade ago. Yeah, you were in your
Mhm.
early 30s, girl. Of course you had more energy, you know? I'm like, "Oh, but, life is life. They get a calmer, more
Yes.
centered, more well-balanced, wiser version of me. I can't carry them around on my back. So what?
So what? Nobody else can either. Stop comparing.
Exactly. So, do you think women today are redefining what success actually looks like?
My God. Great question. I feel like I filed for divorce around this question. Yes. And I feel like we're finally allowed to, or like other women are showing other women, like, it's okay. Come on. Like, you don't have to stay at home and just be a mom and not again. People come for me when I say just be a mom. It is the hardest job, period. End of sentence. Alone. But if you want something else for you, you shouldn't hold shame about that. And I had a lot of noise, specifically in my relationship, around what a mom should be doing. And it should be about the kids. And it's not really about you anymore. I feel like women are finally stepping into like what they want to do and what gives them purpose. And that gives you more energy and makes you a better mom because you're lit up. And then one other thing that really helped for me is you're showing your child how to live a full on lit up life. And if you're dulling and it's like, no, I just want to be a mom. No, it's just about you. Somebody was on my show the other day. She was like, you delve down everything that you say. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, do you ask your daughter about her day? And I was like, yeah, when we sit down at dinner, I'm like, how's your day? And she's like, does she ask you about yours? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just like, oh, mommy had a show. How was your day? I'm always like spotlight back on her. And she's like, stop doing that. You need to show her it's okay to be like, mommy talked to Aimee Rickabus today. I was on the Manage Her podcast. You know what we talked about? And it was so good. And mommy had a great show. But I'm always like, I don't want her to think that my day was more important. And she's like, you need to be the model of showing her it's okay to shine. And she's looking at you. And if you never talk about your day, and I would cut it off like mommy had a show, but how was your day? Because that was a right thing to do. And it's conditioning. We're supposed to just be small and like it's about our kids now. No, you're showing them how they'll live. And don't you want your daughter to feel confident sharing about her day? And of course you do. How is she going to learn until you do? So like let go of that guilt about mattering. Like, oh, it's just everything's small. Like I did that for so long and I don't want my daughter to ever live like that. So how can I show her anything different?
I think that's so cool. Yeah, my 5-year-old wants to be a podcaster when she grows up. That's like
Yes.
she
I
does.
want to be on her show.
In the Rickabus show. She is so cute.
Yes.
She's a character. She'll do really well. I was even thinking, my gosh, as soon as she can read a script, I can get her
Amy,
book. I
give
can
her
get
a
her
mic
going.
right now. Put her on
Yes.
Instagram Live. My daughter
Okay.
had the Amaya show and I edited it up for her, but I was crying laughing. And my putting it, she's just like this little ham. And she would see me she's like, so guys, today we're going to talk about bubble gum. And then she would like open a gum, blow it. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Like and subscribe. Like she would do this whole thing. And so I edited it up. And I would put it on, and my friends were like, "We are watching the Aimee show. My kids are," and she just saw me. It was amazing. Give her the mic. She doesn't need to just be like, if she says, "What do I want to talk about whatever you want to talk about." One day she talked about ice, and she would just eat ice and then show like ice in her water and be like, "Okay, guys, that's our show." And I was like, "That's great." So I would like edit it, put a little, "This show's about ice by Aimee Washington." And she was just, I would let her watch it back, spark that. If that
It's
fire is
there.
lit, help that fire, give her the microphone now. None of
Okay.
which she can read a script. Be like, do whatever you want. I'll subscribe. I love it.
I love it. Okay, I'll as soon as I get her up, I'll shoot you her link so you can subscribe.
Okay. Done.
She's
Consider I'm her first subscriber. I'd be honored.
yay, she's got a fan. Okay, good. I
Yes.
love
Stoke that flame. Let her shine.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. You're right though. Yeah, we have to. That's one of our jobs as moms. If we see
Yes.
something that lights them up, it's our
Yes.
job to like be like, okay, let's go ahead and, fan that little spark there and see if we can get a fire started, right?
Absolutely. Even
Yeah.
if it's competitive cheer and they have to be there 4 hours early and it's 2 hours away, they love it. You take them to competitive cheer and you put a smile on just in case anybody, a friend of mine had to do that.
Just in case you know somebody who might have to do that. Oh my God,
In case.
mom, you're a good one. I've got 3 boys playing base travel ball right now, baseball, and it is woo. Oh my. Yay.
Woo!
No, yes, I totally want to drive to Riverside today. That sounds
Heck
awesome. Let's
yeah.
do that. Let's
And you're
go.
smiling as you say it, and it's great. Stoke the
Yeah,
flame.
at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yes. Exactly.
Have you ever had any moments ever where you questioned continuing the podcast? Was there do you have you
No.
never, never
No,
ever. Just
growing
your
it.
your rebrand. You had a moment where you were like,
Ooh.
"Let's pivot." And you
Yes,
yeah.
when Gabby Bernstein tells you to do something, you do it. I will share. Gabby Bernstein was on Squats and Margaritas. Again, how do you get to Gabby Bernstein? I happened to be not opening for her, but she was the headliner speaker, and was one of the opening, I guess, an opener, kind of. So because I was a speaker, I'm front row, and she's speaking and walking, and I did have 6 shoes on. Like, let's just be honest, my shoes were sick. But she goes, "Those shoes are sick," and I was like, "Oh." Okay. I was like, I feel like I have an in. So I was like, "Gabby," and I came up afterwards. She was like, "Oh my God," I'm telling her where I got my shoes. And I was like, I'm just gonna shoot my shot." I was like, "I have a podcast and I have actually sent you a few DMs. You haven't seen them." She goes, "Here's my assistant. Send it right now." But I shot my shot and went up to her and asked her. Anyway, she comes on Squats and Margaritas. She's sober. And I was like, I am just getting these hits that I feel it's like, you should stop drinking. And I was like, I fought it for a while. I was like, no, it's my brand. And it's fun. And I'm the margarita girl. And I was like, I feel like it's going to kill my brand. And she was like, I kept this in the episode. She was like, fuck your brand. This elevates your brand. If you were being called to stop drinking, you lean into that. But I was like, you hustle squats and margaritas everywhere. She kind of like gave me permission to do that pivot. And this is a top 1% podcast, not squats and margaritas. And I kept saying, like, I had convinced myself that my pain to purpose was getting my body image stuff in check, which I still credit Squats and Margaritas, a balanced lifestyle, for doing that. But that was just the beginning. Like, then I could look at more things, and it just didn't serve me anymore. And in COVID, it was all margaritas and no squats. And it was like, I just kind of outgrew it. And as much as you hustle it, it feels like you have to just make it work. But I completely pivoted. This is the Lit Up podcast. Like, I would talk to trainers and about workouts and stuff, and it'd just be like, okay, what is your diet? And this now it's broad. I can talk about anything I'm going through. And it's just, I found my lane when Gabby gave me permission to just walk away from it. You are getting hits. Like, you don't have to run it by somebody else. They're for you. If I was talking to my producer at the radio station, like, I feel like I should call it something else, she'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, you have this many downloads." She's not getting the guidance. You're getting these hits and they're for you, and you have to listen to it and follow that guidance. And it may seem like scary. I have a children's book coming out that I just kept getting this, like, I swear it downloaded into my brain, Aimee, like every stanza rhymed. And I'm a vessel. Like, this book just came through me that I'm supposed to put out into the world, and comes out in June. And it's just like
What's it
listening to
called?
these it's called I'm Just Like Me. And my kids are biracial, and my daughter is like super tall. When I say tall, it doesn't really, like, head and shoulders taller than everybody in her class. So her skin is darker, her hair is curly, and she would come home and be like, why is nobody this tall? Why is nobody's ponytail like this? And I was like, you are just the way you're supposed to be. You're not, her ponytail is supposed to be like that. Yours is supposed to be like this. And I was like, there's no book that tells kids at a young age, you're exactly who you're supposed to be. And comparing, yes, you're not like them, but you're not supposed to be. Everybody's half a little bit like their mom, a little bit like their dad. And it rhymed. And then I had to find a publisher. And then we were not on the same page with illustration. So it has been a journey. But this came out of, I guess, another, like, I want to say like a painful moment, but my daughter's struggle of like every day coming back, like I'm taller than everyone. No, I'm like, you're not supposed to be like anyone else. You're like this, they're like that. And once they got to kind of get it, it's like, oh yeah, your hair's not like her and it's not supposed to be. You're supposed to be like this. She's supposed to be like this. And she was kind of like, all right, like nobody's ever put it that way. So I was like, I need to tell all the kids, like I have a history of like taking something and like really making sure now every child needs to know this message. But I just get these, if something's on your heart, it's for you. And it may not make total sense and it may not be what you went to school for. But if you want to find profound purpose, you have to follow those little signs that you're getting. And mine is a blue butterfly. And when I did your show and the one right behind you, my foundation's called Blue Butterfly. I had a blue butterfly coming to my door. And I said, how long was I just on my phone and not seeing it? You have to put yourself out into the universe authentically and organically as you are, and then sit back and watch for the guidance. Get off your phone. Go for a walk without AirPods. And it's there. It's just like we're on our phone, we're scrolling. So as soon as you're open to it, the guidance will show you exactly where you're supposed to be. And it may not be what you're doing now, and it may not be what you went to school for, but you have to just hear the guidance and trust that, not run it by somebody else. Maybe if you get to Gabby Bernstein, she'll tell you if you should do it or not. It was a pivot and it was the right one.
That's amazing. So
Eh.
she had this huge impact. One show, one huge impact. Amazing. So
Yes.
if you could have anybody on your show, like who is your like absolute I wish I could have?
I mean, it's a list and they are very familiar with me, but they're following me. So we're getting there. Bethany
Okay.
Frankel, Sarah Blakely. I really want to talk to Kyle Richards first about her sobriety, but now her divorce. Like there's a double whammy. And I'm in touch with her. I've sent emails that her publicist has gotten to her. So I'm kind of just like sitting back on that one. But if I could talk to Kelly Ripa, those are my four. Kelly Ripa, Sarah Blakely, um, Kyle Richards, and Bethany Frankel. But Bethany
Um,
has been sending me her merch and stuff. Like I've made it somehow onto her when she has new products. She'll send me things. And the day she started following me, I've just been like, okay. Like, but then you can't think about who's another thing I think we talked about. Gelman from Live with Kelly and Mark. I'm trying to do a segment on there. When he started following me, my first inclination was like, only post things that are about what you want to talk about. But that is not living as authentically and organically as I am. So I still do crazy lip sync things. And it was scary at first, but I'm like, no, if he doesn't want me to do live because I am doing lip sync voices, then live's not for me. You can't like cater to certain opportunities. You be you, and then whatever. Maybe it's not live. Maybe it's today's show. Maybe it's GMA. Just when you see, but when I saw him and when I saw Bethany following me, it was like my inclination was like, only post about the things you want to talk to them about. And I'm like, no, that is not when you elevate, and that is not an aligned opportunity for you. You put out your energy, and the energy that is supposed to match with that will find you. No forcing energy, no like catering all your content to the specific pitch you want to do on live, even though that's where your head will go. Just be you.
yeah, absolutely. And you already got them there because of who you are. So
True.
just keep
That's a
being
great
you.
point.
Yeah, you already have your casting call, girl. Just you gotta
Oh,
wear the same outfit and show up again. That's your
should
callback.
I, what kind of pants? Should I put on the right pants
Yes,
or the
maybe not your workout pants. I don't know.
maybe don't wear right now? Let's just share. I'm wearing workout pants on the bottom. I changed my shirt and curled my hair because life be lifing. But you know what? I absolutely love this conversation. And I'm so glad I didn't push it off. I don't care if I'm getting divorced and moving at the same day. I don't care. I had a great, I did this for me and it poured into me. And that's what moms need to do more for themselves.
Erin, you are the best. You are fun and refreshing and absolutely hilarious. And I think that one of the reasons people connect with you so deeply is because you've created something that feels very real in a world that often feels so like filtered and performative. And honestly, I think that's why podcasting has become so powerful because people are craving real conversations, real voices, real nuance, real humanity. Reality TV was anything but real. And the
Yeah.
podcasting is sort of the anti that, which is awesome. There's so many authentic voices in podcasting, and you can really find your very specific flavor. Whatever you
Yes.
need, she's out there. He's out there. There are all of these amazing voices out there it's kind of just this amazing platform. But what I loved about today's conversation is that we got to pull back the curtain on it a little bit and actually look at what it's like to build a platform, sustain creativity, navigate motherhood, and grow something meaningful online while still trying to stay grounded as a human being. And I think so many women listening are going to walk away feeling inspired, not only to maybe start a podcast someday, but to trust their own voice a little bit more. So thank you for joining us today and for the work you're doing through your platform and your community. And to everyone listening, make sure to follow Erin Washington. She is at Erin Washington and at ThERINpy with Erin Washington on Instagram. And her 2 books. Go ahead, let's give a shout out to your 2 books.
Sure. Well, my Instagram is where I show up the most, and it's I am Erin Washington. Somebody else had Erin Washington. Can get it. My book is called From Pain to Purpose: Finding Meaning in the Mess. That is on Amazon. I self-published that one, but I got an actual publisher for Just Like Me, which is super exciting. Comes out at the end of June. I want it to be like a book you bring to a baby shower. So like any child can just get this in their hands early, that you're not supposed to be like anybody else. There's no need to compare. I compared for so long with like body image and stuff. And it's like, once you just ingrain, you're supposed to be like you. Yeah, you don't look like them. That's the point. Then hopefully you won't have the struggle that I had for so long. It worked on my daughter. I hope it works on your child. And my show is ThERINpy with Erin Washington. And it's just me being vulnerable and asking the questions to a mental health professional or a coach. And it's for you if you are co-parenting, going through a divorce, looking at your sobriety, maybe dating in your 40s when you haven't in a while. I have dating coaches, relationship coaches, and therapists on. And I have a great episode with Aimee Rickabus that you need to check out. And this was fabulous. I really appreciate you having me on your show today.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you as a friend. So if you guys are listening, please subscribe, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, share this episode with another woman who may need this conversation. Thank you for joining us here on the Manager Podcast. I'll see you guys next week.